It is true that it's easier for women to get sex, but it is easier for men to get a relationship. And I think that's fair because most women really prefer a relationship and many men just prefer getting sex. After all, not all men, but in general, many of them just want that. It's easy for them to want that. And from my work as a bookkeeper, I see this firsthand. They come over here for their bookkeeping appointments, they have a great time, they pay a lot of money, and then they're gone till they need their next bookkeeping appointment. And maybe they'll see another bookkeeper. Maybe they have a bookkeeper already at home. For me, it doesn't work the same way. I only do bookkeeping when men pay me because if I do bookkeeping for free, I get attached. And the men that I see are very sensual men. They understand this. They understand that women are different in this way. I think we don't always talk enough about our differences. I think that most men's ideas of bookkeeping is what they see in bookkeeping movies where women are in porn. Bookkeeping and porn is what they see. And a lot of people get the mistaken idea that women are like men. That's what they see how sex should be, that's what's modeled to them, and they think that's how they should be. And yes, there are times when a woman just wants to just like hook up while she's on a vacation or just got after a breakup or she's super horny because she's ovulating. I mean, yes, it happens. And yes, there are men who only want sex in relationships. There are all these things, but I'm talking about the majority of cases and what's true in general. Check the escort pages in any city. It's filled with women and they make a lot of money. Where I'm talking about traveling nurse type of money, okay? They make a lot of money. Why? Because and it's not women who are the clients coming to see women, it's men. Men will pay for sex. They will pay for that. And that's why they're looking for it. They want it so bad they'll pay for it. And they'll pay for it because they want if they want an experience that isn't just with some skank off the street. They don't want to necessarily have to like wine and dine or charm some woman. They want it direct and easy and they'll pay for that. But if they don't want to pay for that, they'll go on Tinder and they'll look and men will swipe on like I think 80% of women. They're like, I just need a vagina. I just need a vagina. Now, they have a bigger sex drive. Ladies, if we had the amount of testosterone men had, we would be spreading our legs all the time too. Okay? So you can't blame them. That's how they're made. Now they have to be civil and polite and consensual about it, but they have a higher drive. And that's what happens in marriages and relationships. Men have a higher drive. They will want sex more, and they will want sex more like when I was married, I could walk out of the shower and my husband would want to fuck me just because he saw a naked body. And a lot of men, all they need to do is see a breast and their penis is hard. They're ready to go. And that's good because if men's sex drive took so long to warm up as a woman's, the human race would have died out a long time ago. And that's why we have the word lesbian deathbed. You have two women, and there's no one pushing for sex, so the sex stops happening. I follow some gay men on Just for Fans. Oh my God, they're not having the kind of sex I'm having. There are always a lot of men involved. There's a lot of stuff going on. There are all kinds of gadgets. You know, they're very good with their filming. Men are more interested in things. Women are more interested in relationships. It's very true. The men make the videos. I'm making a typical feminine energy video. I don't have fancy cameras. I don't have a fancy microphone. It's just me and my phone. And you know what? I'm going to own it. It's just me sitting on my sofa at home in my nightgown from J. Crew, my little, I don't know, it's like a little peasant girl type of little nightgown. I just think it's so cute. I'm just missing the bonnet and making my videos. But the guys, you know, they're all kinds of penises swinging around and you know what guys do. Sometimes they have these poppers and different camera angles and, you know, they just got it all going on. That's guys for you. I do not know any lesbians making porn. I don't, you know, it's all men. Men pay for that. Men's desire for sex is very great. If you look at who's paying for porn, 98% of porn is paid for by men. Now, what do women watch? Women like the romance novels. They like the romance novels where the most exciting thing is his strong thighs pressed up against me. Ah, I'm swooning already. Ah, take me away. What women want to conquer, in the typical romance novel for a woman, you have this very rich, this billionaire who's got this great body, and he's conquering the world, and all the women want him, but he only wants you, and you tame him. That's a typical woman one, you know. Um, and women like those romantic comedies. Guys don't usually like that. Women usually want a relationship, okay? So, while it's hard to get women for sex, it's hard to get men for a relationship, especially the men we want. I could look out my window right now in my apartment complex. I got a bunch of guys walking their dogs, but they look, I mean, just because they have a penis, I'm not going to jump on it. I'm thinking they found from evolutionary biology kind of research that women, within 2 seconds, we scan men for physical, mental, and emotional health. But there's more to it. See, there's all this stuff to it. They found, okay, they had all these men wear t-shirts 3 nights in a row so that their natural pheromones and their scents would be absorbed into the t-shirts. And then they presented these t-shirts to women to smell. And it turns out that the scent that was the most pleasing to the women was associated with the men that had the most symmetrical faces, which is another thing we're never allowed to talk about because of what happened in Germany, is genetic superiority. There is a thing of genetic superiority, but I think some of that is still there, but some of it isn't as strong anymore as it used to be, because people who are genetically weaker can do things to help themselves, like through medicine or through surgery or through just getting like good mental health treatment. But the pheromone thing, but they also found that what has to do with the pheromones is that the man has to be genetically dissimilar enough to you, because a woman is, we have biologically evolved to want to reproduce, and men's strategy, if we're just talking about the part of us that, the animal part of us that wants to procreate, a man's strategy is impregnate, get his penis into as many women as possible, and a woman's strategy is select the best genes. And part of that isn't just how he looks, is his genetic, are his genes different enough from mine that we're going to have a healthy baby. So, and subconscious cues like his scent, which you wouldn't even smell that, you would just subconsciously pick up on that. Like in my case, my mother is white German, my dad is dark skinned, like Azerbaijan, Russia type Turkish. And maybe that's why I'm so healthy, because they're very different. But if my mom would have married her cousin, it would have gone, I would probably be retarded, let's say. You know what I mean? So people pick up on these cues. And also for women, because we want a relationship, we know we're not as strong as you. Like, we want to feel safe. Okay, so I have had relationships with women, and I've had to pursue women. When I start dating lesbians, I'm like, okay, I got to pursue women and all that. And I'm in a different mode, and I try to think, like, what if I had a penis? How would I act? And I'd be like, I would just want to look for any woman who'll have me. Any nice set of curves will do that I can penetrate and touch. I want to touch her. I want to penetrate her, and I'm not going to be that picky. But I mean, she's got to smell clean and be reasonably pretty and be nice. But a lot of men aren't even that choosy. Because a lot of guys will be, I want to fuck an 8. If I get a 10, great. But I'll fuck a 4. And the woman who's the 4 thinks, this guy really likes me. He's fucking me. Because to us, it feels personal. You're giving me affection. And affection is what I do as a mother. I'm holding my children. I'm affectionate. So when you're holding me like that, it feels personal. It feels like you like me. Because I'm not coming at it from a testosterone point of view. I'm not overtaken by my lust. I'm actually fully aware with all my senses. And I can feel this feels friendly, this feels nice, this feels caring. You must like me. Whereas the guy is just like, I got to get my dick in there, so I'm just going to hold you because right now you're a beautiful object. So we need to talk more about these differences. And for me to want a relationship with a man, I got to feel like I want to feel like he wants a relationship with me. And guys, you do the same thing when you're looking for a wife or a relationship. You have all those same standards. You're not going to do the four. You're not going to go for the four for a relationship or for a wife. You'll be embarrassed to be seen with her in public. You don't want to look at her when you wake up in the morning. You don't want to take her home to mom. So before I want to fuck a guy, I'm thinking, is this a guy I would introduce my children to? That's the difference. That's the difference, guys. It's not hypergamy for fucking. It's not that we're more choosy. It's just that I would just want to fuck a guy I'd take home to my kids. If you guys had more standards and you would just fuck a woman you take home to your kids, I want to know how many women you would actually fuck. And that's why you guys think we have it easy, because the guys who think that women have it easy are guys that are plunderers, users of women, plunderers of women, and don't understand women at all. Because if you're around women who are just going around smashing and you think that's great, you need a therapist. Because a woman who has her life together, who honors and respects herself, who dresses modestly in public, and who is relational, is going to be very choosy about which man she opens her legs to. And she's going to be looking for a man who cares about her and who's relational. And how many men are lining up for relationships? You guys say, okay, I'm so choosy, but you're just as choosy when you look for a wife. So when you guys look for a wife, what are you looking for? Okay, you want someone who's pretty. Are you pretty? You want someone who's nice. Are you nice? You want someone that does, maybe domestic duties. Are you doing masculine duties? Like, are you at her level? You want someone who's fit. Are you fit? You want someone that doesn't drink a lot or has addictions. Are you healthy and don't have addictions? You want a woman who gets along with her family. Do you get along with your family? That's equality right there. You have different roles, but you are equally competent physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy. And that's where I think all these guys in the manosphere mess up. They go about it the wrong way. They're like, how can I plunder more women? Let me make myself into an object of desirability to plunder more women and spin plates, rather than, how can I be the best version of myself so I can be happy in my life? How can I build a relationship and have a family life? And when it comes to that, unless a guy is lining up to, here's the thing. If I see a bunch of guys who are coming at me going, I want to take you to coffee, I'm looking for a relationship, and I'm just meeting women and trying to get to know them, all these women would line up. But I don't see that happening. I just see, like, I gotta spin plates. I want some pussy. I need sex now, now, now. I don't want marriage. All women are cheaters. If you want your woman to stay attracted to you in your marriage, I'm gonna make a separate video on this. I gotta get put on a suit or something for that. But a man is gonna get, your sex drive is so high that you can be married for 20 years. You see your overweight wife come out of the shower and you want to slide it in because you saw some pubic hair or a round butt. Okay, that's great. That's great. You're supposed to be that way. And because you want that, if she doesn't want that, you're going to start thinking, how can I make her want that? Oh, yeah, I remember she used to want it when I actually took her on dates once in a while and gave her some attention. I actually looked in her eyes when I talked to her instead of just like ignoring her all day and just remembering her when I want to get my dick wet. That's why women stop wanting to have sex. They get too stressed, they're ignored by you, and a woman isn't going to want to, a woman doesn't get horny because she saw your penis. Like I said, we are more relational. How is our relationship? How's my relationship with me? How is our relationship? I'm not saying a woman, it's okay for a woman to stop wanting to have sex. If you, as a woman, are not having sex with your husband anymore, this is a red flag because a relationship needs regular sex to be healthy. But the sex has to be satisfying to both. And if it stopped happening, it's so important to have a conversation about why it's not happening. And sometimes people don't know. They think they lost their sex drive, and there are a lot of reasons that can happen. The more obvious ones to me are he stopped paying attention to her, she got stressed, um, she forgot to make it a priority. Because sometimes the more you start having it, the more you like it. But maybe he just started giving her quickies, or he only looks in her eyes when he's fucking her. And women don't operate like that. So, the man's push for sex and the woman's need to be relational are really good because it makes us each better people. It's very relational. But I'm a person who believes in relationships, and if relationships aren't operating at a high level, and there isn't good sex happening, or you're bored in sex, or you find your partner repulsive, or you're angry with your partner and can't get over it, or you feel abandoned or whatever, that's when therapy is really good. That's when therapy is really good. That's what you do. You grow, you learn how to work together and how to overcome things. It's not okay to be like, oh yeah, I lost my interest in sex. That's just how women are. It's not just how women are. Women have to understand that men need sex to feel close, and men need to understand that women need to feel close to want sex. So it's a very simple problem to solve. But don't go around saying that women have it easy because men want to have sex with us. Unless they're paying me, it does me no good at all. Unless you're giving me something, it does me no good at all, because my pleasure during sex is going to be a fraction of yours. You're going to get a lot more out of it than I am as a woman, because your penis is going to have an orgasm at my expense. And I need a lot more to get to that point with you. I need to trust you. I need to feel safe with you. I need a lot more time with you. I need to open more to receive from you. It's not that simple of a physical thing for a woman. A woman's sexual pleasure is so tied to her emotions. How she feels about herself, how she feels about you is everything. A woman can, and a lot of women are going around faking it. They're not being open emotionally. For a woman, we are more emotional, and we have to be, because we are responsible for nurturing these babies. Women who were not emotional died out a long time ago because they didn't take care of their babies. They just died out. So the only women that were left in the gene pool were the ones that were caring and nurturing. And now society has made it like that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Ladies, you're not supposed to love hooking up. You're not supposed to love it. You're supposed to want a man to give you something in return for your sexuality, like a relationship. You're supposed to want that, and if you don't, you might want to get some therapy. I'm just trying to wake you up. I'm not going to judge you for sleeping around, but is that what you really want? Because you might want to explore this with a therapist. That there's some guarding here in your heart that's, feminine energy wants a relationship. A very feminine woman isn't going to go around hooking up. She's not going to cheat on her husband. That's all guarded, toxic, dysfunctional behavior, in my opinion. A feminine woman is going to open to her husband and be devoted to him. That's my experience as a woman. I consider myself a feminine woman, and I like to honor the man that I'm with. And I want something of value. His sex for a man and woman is not an equal exchange. That's why a man in a relationship has to keep being attentive to his woman, for her to want sex with him. Because yes, I had sex with my husband for years that I hated, because I wasn't going to be one of these women who didn't give my husband sex, so he had to go get a prostitute. So I would just lay there, and I guess they call it, I wasn't a starfish, but I was and I'm not going to call it pity sex. I'm going to call it duty sex, good wife sex. I'm going to give it to you whenever you want it, but I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm glad it's over. I'm so glad you're done. I didn't fake anything, but I'm like, yeah, I'll get the KY jelly out because you don't really turn me on. Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't, but. And then after a while, I got so disgusted by him groping me and never asking me out that I just started sleeping in a separate room. But at the time, I didn't know what it was, and I didn't have the conversation with him. I was just like checked out because years and years of asking him to like go to a marriage class or take me on a date, and him just telling me no, he didn't want to spend the money. I just stopped asking. I just stopped asking. But I didn't know then what I know now. I would have said, you know what, our marriage isn't working, babe. I'd like to do something about it. Would you? I want to feel closer. I want to feel more connected. That's important to me. I really want to be a good wife and have a good relationship with you. And we don't have that. Is that something you want? And he probably would have said, no, I don't. He would have told me no. That's not important to me. Sex isn't important to me, Sharzad. It's just something I do to get off 3 times a week with you. It's kind of sad, I feel sad for people who are so emotionally disconnected, but it's not my responsibility to offer a relationship with them or to live with them. So, I just kind of make these videos that I think can help people because I'm 60 now. I've kind of been through some of this stuff. I just get so frustrated with men who think women have it good because men desire us. Yeah, you know what? There's a sense of power in someone looking at me saying, I wish I had her. But you know what? Have me for what? To slide his dick in and leave me with a bunch of his cum? Not trying to turn you guys on here. Yeah, say that word again. Say come, come, come. That's not what I want. Good sex to me is very emotional, very sensual, very connected. With someone that's going to be like, afterward, he's going to say, let's go for whatever, dinner or breakfast, or, let's, like, it's not just, he's not going to abandon me after. I don't want to be abandoned after sex. I don't want my husband to roll over and go to sleep or get up and take a shower because he had his orgasm and now mine is just a chore. That's what I allowed. Or, I got mine, so see you later. That's not attractive to me. That's using a woman. And that's not what women want. So when we're choosing because I would always look for a guy who would care about my orgasm and who would stick around after the sex. That's what I always screened for. And my sensors were way off after my divorce because the same type of men that I would have gone for, they were using me for sex, but I was going after really young guys. And they were very relational guys. I could tell that they were relational. But I didn't understand that with an older woman, they would just use me for sex. I got my heart broken so many times. And then I look at guys my age, I'm like, those young guys, what I liked about them was, and I picked a lot of like Marine officers, those young artillery officers, for example. The Marine Corps picks men very well and they train them very highly. They pick very elite men. They look for men who love the outdoors, who are very relational. It's different than the Navy. The Marine Corps picks a higher quality of men, especially for their officers. And I would immediately like tell from their photos and their faces that this is the kind of guy that I would like. But that joyfulness and that health and that optimism about life is something we have to work at to maintain because life is going to throw you a bunch of shitballs. Divorce, death, physical disease, and in order to stay your happiness and your vitality and your creativity and your optimism, A lot of people lose that. They become physically rigid and they become despondent and they just look haggard. And that's not sexually attractive to me. And that's the thing I struggle with men my age is that they look energetically run down. Like, I look for men who are happy. That's why I was so excited about those surfers. Their happiness, their glow. I love that in a man. His glow, his happiness, his energy. And a lot of it is his physical energy. Like, I kind of like to tussle with a guy in bed a little bit. His penis being hard is energy. I can see his hip bones thrusting on me. Like, that's such a turn on. Like, seeing that energy of a man. Those are just, that's the animal in me looking for signs of health, physical health, emotional health, mental health. And I know that life can do things and people can lose it. But the only thing you should really ever lose is your physical health. Your mental and emotional health are totally under your control, and even your physical health to a large extent, because a lot of it is cured with diet, good diet, exercise, and therapy. I was listening to a PhD doctor, Michael Yanko, today on YouTube, and has been using hypnosis for 45 years to help people with physical pain get rid of their pain. There's also physical therapy. There's yoga. There's no reason for some guy to run around fat and despondent with his shoulders off. My trainer told me that there are guys who they've done all this weightlifting, but they don't do any mobility training or integrative training. They just lift these weights and they got all these shoulders up to here, and then they turn around in their car to get something out of the back seat and they tear their rotator cuff because they're so rigid and stiff. Like, when I see a guy all like that, I'm so turned off. It's gross. I am very picky. Okay. What I look for in a guy is of equal socioeconomic status, equally educated, my same social class, my same economic class, with a proper sense of human proportion. Like, looking like that is like gross. Guys with all those biceps, that's just gross. Like, I have a sense of beauty that I look for. And, you know, I think all those guys usually stay married. That's what I think. So, and a lot of people, their stress runs them down. They're out competing in the world. They're working so hard. I don't know. I know that you guys watching my videos are the exception, but none of you live here, so I don't even know you. But don't think that men wanting us is any kind of a benefit. That does not benefit me at all. Some guy wanting to slide a stick in me, how does that benefit me? How does that benefit me? And if you think it does, it means that you're clueless. You're exactly the guys I don't want. Any guy that thinks a woman benefits because men want to slide their dicks in us is a guy that has a lot to learn, and he's confused because he's stupid. I'm sorry, it's just stupid. Because if you understand women, if you're around high quality women, you will know that women are relational. We want relationships, and we want sex with men who want a relationship with us. And when it comes to that standard, we're just as frustrated as you are, because you can't get a woman like me just to hook up with. Women like me don't hook up. So that's why you're frustrated. So to get a woman of my caliber, you're going to have to offer a relationship, and you guys don't want a relationship. So I always say women are the gatekeepers of sex and men are the gatekeepers of relationships. And if more of you guys were out there offering relationships, you would get more women. Now, if you want to get more women, you just have to be a man who is reasonably physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy, because the same things that we look for to be in a relationship with you are the same things you look for to be in a relationship with us. So let me circle back around. If you're a man looking for a relationship, make a list of the things you're looking for in the woman. Well, let's see. I want her to be pretty. I want her to be sexual. I want her to be nice. I want her to be financially responsible, right? You don't want somebody who's got a going to bring a whole bunch of debt to you. I don't want her to have any addictions. Whatever, make that list. And then go down the list again and see if you have those things. Are you fit? You have no addictions? Are you financially responsible? And then make a little leeway for the fact that she's a woman, you're a man, that you have testosterone, so you'll be expected to work more and make more money and be more competitive. And she has estrogen and she's relational, so you would expect her to be more relational, to know more and be more interested in people, planning parties, family events, children, caretaking, nurturing. And then just wait for the women to show up. Make yourself into the kind of man that can attract that kind of woman, and you guys will have women like that. That's what I think. But I want to know what you think. Leave your answers in the comments.